Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sonic Heroes on the Microsoft Xbox. I am one well sheep yet again.
You fools must all have a death wish. Witness this invincible battleship built by the hands of a genius. Its power unmatched throughout the universe.
All right, Eggman, let's get this party started.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to finish off the Sonic storyline of the game once and for all, and we begin with the Egg Fleet Zone. And this stage is absolutely phenomenal. I love this stage just because we're going between all of Eggman's ships in the air. We're going to be destroying them one by one, dodging cannon fire, destroying badniks and other mooks along the way. This is a fantastic stage through and through, and I absolutely adore it just for the aesthetics alone. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? What can I tell you indeed? And it's such a massive it's a massive thrill ride. God damn, my vocabulary's not working with me this morning. Just to simply blast my way through all the cannon fire, blast my way through cannons and whatnot in order to get from point A to point B. What can I tell ya? And I think that's largely just due to the fact we are pretty much in the stratosphere of the, basically the stratosphere of the entire planet Earth. And I don't know, I think it's pretty damn dope. What can I tell ya? But one thing I wanted to talk about is actually the cannons themselves. Not so much the cannons shooting at us, but the cannons that we can fire ourselves out of. Because I've sort of ignored them throughout the course of the playthrough up until this point, so I figured I may as well give them a bit of attention, I may as well talk about them a bit. But basically, the cannons that we shoot ourselves out of, we can actually modify the directory that we get sent out of through the use of whichever character we get to play as. For example, if we play as Sonic, we tend to go to the fastest route. If we play as, if we swap as Tails, whenever we jump into a cannon, we'll take the highest route. And whenever we pick Knuckles, the cannons will shoot us off into a manual direction, which will allow us to destroy objects and whatnot in our path. Well, whenever the game lets us, anyway. So that's a fantastic, neat little thing that they didn't do much with. They could have probably done a lot more with the actual cannon fire, but you know, I like the fact that we can somewhat manipulate how things act when we jump into cannons just by swapping characters, you know, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, from time to time in this zone, we're going to be coming up to these gigantic propeller blades, which we need to activate using the speed character. These propeller blades, well, basically when we are holding onto them, we can move them up and down. To, well, move up and down. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? And we'll need to do that in order to dodge any enemy fire along the way. And the game basically tells you where to go to be safe. For example, Tails or Sonic or whatever will turn around and go, move up! To, let you know to move up. Or go down! In order to go down. And I appreciate that. What can I say, folks? What can I say? But yeah, this is basically the final stretch of the Team Sonic playthrough now, and from this point onwards in the playthrough, this is the last of the original content, really. Every part of this playthrough from this point onwards will be strictly the same stages again, only, well, slightly different, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be some slight variations here or there in the level design. But anyway, what's kind of weird is, as you can easily tell, we blew up that battleship. Now, to blow up those battleships, the game expects you to use Sonic or the team character's Rocket Excel ability, which is basically, it's basically this game's variation of the spin dash. You hold down the X button, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles will all group up together, and Knuckles and Tails will push Sonic at massive speed. It's a little bit finicky. I never really get to use it that much, just because I can never utilize the ability properly. But you don't actually need to use that, just contrary to popular belief. All you really need to do whenever you come up to conveyor belts like that to run along them quick enough to destroy the thingy is just keep running, and eventually Sonic will gain the momentum necessary, ladies and gentlemen. Which I do appreciate. Oh, yes, indeedy-o. But, Yeah, again, I just love the stage, I love the aesthetics, and the soundtrack. Oh, God! I want to talk about the soundtrack of the game a bit first anyway, just because the soundtrack of this game is, I don't know, it's not so much underrated, because everybody who played this game loves the soundtrack. It's just, I rarely find people talking about it, and it's such a shame, because despite the vocal tracks being ultra cheesy, which honestly I think adds to the charm of the game, honestly, but that's just me, honestly, the music is just some of the best music in the entire series. I just love each song, each level theme is just ridiculously awesome, over the top, and fitting for whatever stage you go into, which I do think is pretty damn tubular. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? But of course, being the final stage of the game as well, naturally this is also one of the longest. It has the longest second act, it has the longest first act. So if you don't know what you're doing, you probably will be in the stage for quite a long time. And if you do know what you're doing, well, you're probably going to be in the stage for quite a long time. It's a pretty lengthy one, ladies and gentlemen, which is a bit of a shame. Honestly, again, I prefer the shorter level designs for Sonic. I prefer Sonic level design to be very compact and up to 4 to 5 minutes length. Normally, you know, folks, like right now the stage should be finished in my opinion, and we should have moved on to the second act, but unfortunately the game's just continuing. It's just moving onwards more so and more so every chance we get, which is a bit of a shame. But of course, one thing is a little bit annoying about this zone in particular is an issue that's going to be a lot more noticeable as we move to the other storylines of the game. And as that, the level design itself for this game is largely copy and paste in a lot of instances. And up until this point, it's been pretty good with that. It's been pretty good in terms of originality in each of these stages. But from every character storyline onwards, we're going to find areas we've either A, already been to, or areas that we haven't been to but have been slightly modified. And even some areas that are just flat out copied and pasted on multiple times in order to make sure levels are made to be longer, you know, just arbitrarily with no absolute reason for the stages themselves to become a longer fest of nonsense, you know, ladies and gentlemen. Basically, I just don't like the level design mentality that's gone behind this game. I would have preferred if the developers themselves sort of pushed the game to be not so much longer, but just more of a unique package, you know, folks, so that all the characters have the more unique things to worry about, as opposed to, oh, I'm playing as Shadow, so now I got longer stages, yay, I guess, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But I digress. With that, that is the end of this act. Hells to the yeah. This is the only act in the entire game, by the way, that ends with this this animation, and only Team Sonic get this animation as well. It's quite interesting. But it's time now, folks, to tackle the final act of the game. Are you as excited as I am? I hope you are. I'm definitely excited, I'll tell you that much.
This must be Eggman's headquarters.
The airbase!
How does this thing stay afloat? Doesn't matter. Let's take it down.
And there we are, ladies and gentlemen. Now it is time to take on Eggman's flying base itself, the final fortress. And this stage, ladies and gentlemen, is without a doubt in my mind the hardest stage in the entire game. You have loads of falling platforms to deal with. The enemies are out to try and kill you constantly throughout the course of this one, folks. This is without a doubt the hardest stage in the entire game. And the stage also gets harder when you go on to different character storylines as well. Like I said, each character has their own storyline and their own difficulty level associated with them. For example, if we were playing the stage as Team Rose, if we're playing the stage as Amy, then honestly, I would say the stage itself isn't too bad. As Team Sonic, the stage is quite challenging, but still quite easy. And as Team Dark, the stage is more of a pain in the arse than it is anything else, you know, folks. And don't even get me started in Team Chaotix, Jesus Christ. Because, there is like I mentioned before, there are 4 teams in total. And Team Chaotix is basically the return of the Chaotix crew from back in Knuckles Chaotix all the way back on the Sega 32X. And, Many people being around this channel remember I didn't like that game too much. I did an LP of the game. I thought it was okay, not the best game in the world. But, yeah, the Chaotix crew make a massive return in this one, ladies and gentlemen. And basically their game design is completely separate from the likes of Sonic. Their game design is slightly different from, well, not even slightly different, it's completely different from the likes of Team Dark, Team Rose, etc. Because, while Team Sonic, Team Dark, and Team Rose are typical go from point A to point B style level design in Sonic games, Team Chaotix goes and opts out for this for a mission-based structure where sometimes missions will involve obviously going to the end of the stage, which is your typical thing. But sometimes you have to kill X amount of badniks in order to beat the stage. Sometimes you need to find a chow in a stage, you know, ladies and gentlemen. So the level design in that one gets a little bit more interesting, shall we say, in comparison to the other teams. And I have a little bit of mixed feelings on it, and I'll get into why a bit later down the line. But most of my mixed feelings come from the fact that the Shadow the Hedgehog game basically steals that level design mentality to a T and runs with it. And honestly, it's to that game's discredit in my opinion, but I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. I'm getting a slight bit ahead of myself, ladies and gentlemen. I will be tackling the Shadow the Hedgehog game in the future, you know, folks. But, I digress. What can I tell you?
Never thought it would actually self-destruct. It's blown to pieces.
Wonder why it self-destructed.
Ironically, I ran basically straight past the question mark right before I blew up that switch, and one thing that amuses me is the fact that if I touched that question mark, all the Sonic characters and whatnot would have said, this is a giant self-destruction switch. Then after you hit the switch, it'll go and say that one line of dialogue. So, hey, this looks like a self-destruction switch. Let's hit it. It blows up. Oh, I didn't think it would have blown up. What do you think a self-destruction switch does? What are you, stupid? Ah. Then again, the Sonic characters aren't exactly the sharpest tools of the shed, are they? But I digress. Anyway, these yellow bandits as well, we are basically recolored variation of the red bandits we saw in the previous stage, and basically they are very, 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 very armored, not creatures, but they're very armored badniks that will shoot a gigantic laser beam. Whenever you try to homing attack them or do a basic attack on these type of bandits, well, chances are they will put up the shield and it will be a pain in the ass to hit them, which usually you need to use tails to stun them or something, or wait until their shield goes down in order to take them out. And honestly, they're not a big deal to take out because I usually just spam the team blast in order to take these guys down. It's the quickest and easiest way to take them out, what can I tell ya? But they are a new enemy type, and they also from time to time will shoot a gigantic ass laser that honestly isn't very difficult to dodge because they don't even really aim at you, but you know, they have a giant laser, and if you're not careful you can probably get clipped by them. The enemy, I don't like this enemy type, really. Like, I love the design of the enemy type, don't get me wrong, but the enemies themselves don't really do much of anything, so they sort of come across as this sort of just blind enemy that shoots randomly, and you know, you're very unlikely to get hurt by them. You're very unlikely to get clipped and killed by those guys, you know, ladies and gentlemen. So, can be a little bit tricksy. What can I tell ya? What can I tell ya, indeed? But I do advise to start abusing the Team Blast trick in order to get through the stage quicker at this point. Because it's around this point of the game where I really start to get fed up with the game. You know, it's around this point where the game really starts to outweigh its welcome and I get bored by it. And it's entirely because of the length of the levels. As I said, I just can't stand these longer stages. I prefer if it was a shorter sort of game, but nope. They had to go with the longer stages for some peculiar reason, and no sir, I do not like it. I mean, I love the stage just because of how vast and massive the design of the stage seems to be, you know. It really does feel like a climactic showdown where we're taking on Eggman in his battleship, you know, folks, but again, you can make levels seem massive without really needing to make the level too long. For example, look at Death Egg Zone in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. The stage feels ridiculously huge, and it's largely because of how they do the background, you know? You can do the same thing with this one. Make the stage slightly shorter, but make the background appear as if the stage has a lot more to it that you just can't get to. That way you can have the best of both worlds. You can have the open-looking level alongside the shorter time. I don't know. I'm just not too fond of this one. What can I say? Like, and it's a shame because I love the aesthetics of the stage. I love the music. I love the atmosphere. I love everything about it. I just don't like how long it is. And the kill rooms and things that stop you in your path are a bit of a pain in the ass too. But that's something I have to deal with because every Sonic game from this point onwards basically has that design mentality. Because, ladies and gentlemen, one thing I want to say about this game, this particular title in the Sonic series, which may trigger some people, by the way, I'm gone. So if you get triggered by what I'm about to say, I'm sorry, but it's my own opinion, and I agree with myself. Naturally, I agree with myself, otherwise I wouldn't be saying it, would I? But basically, I consider Sonic Heroes to be the first entry in the Dark Age of Sonic. What is the Dark Age of Sonic, you might ask? Well, from the time period of 2005 all the way up until 2008, give or take. Basically, almost, not every, but almost every Sonic game released has been an absolutely massive slew of poorly made titles that have so many design failures, so many catastrophic failures that caused the series to get the reputation it has today, you know, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, say what you will about Sonic Lost World being a mediocre title. It's mediocre. I don't think it's a bad title, you know, then I'm only saying that now because that's more relevant topic at the time of recording, but basically, the Dark Age of Sonic is what we are getting into pretty soon, you know. Around the halfway point of this game is when I'll say we're getting firmly stuck into the feet of the Dark Age, and it's basically a time period of nothing but bad Sonic games for the most part. And while there are good Sonic games released in the Dark Age, I mean, you have Sonic Rush. Almost every Sonic game has a massive, massive flaw that ruins the experience in some way. Be it in the form of the game being flat out broken, like Sonic 06, or the game being true ultra try-hard and edgy, like Shadow the Hedgehog, which, unfortunately, I love Shadow the Hedgehog just because of that reason. It comes across as this really cringy, overly edgy game, and it just amuses me as a result. So, I don't know, I get some unnecessary amusement from that game because of the way it is. Or the game is just impossible to control, like Sonic and the Secret Rings. I don't care what anyone says, Sonic and the Secret Rings is a worse game than Sonic 06. I will say that till the day I die. I cannot stand Sonic and the Secret Rings. That's without a doubt my least favourite mainline Sonic game. Without a single shred of a doubt. But, yeah, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. I'm going to be playing those games later down the line whenever, well, whenever I can, you know, ladies and gentlemen, so, you know, yay, 2-player mode! I'm not going to be showing that off. I'm not going to nag my friends to join me with that, so I'm not showing off 2-player mode. But anyway, I digress. Now it's time for the final special stage! Yay. And of course, we did miss out on Special Stage 5 as well, ladies and gentlemen, which means we basically need to replay that special... Well, I didn't even play it in the first place, but I need to go back to it at a later time as one of the different characters, you know, folks. And one thing I love this game for is the fact it doesn't do the Sonic Advance 2 or Sonic... Actually, it's just Sonic Advance 2. It doesn't do the Sonic Advance 2 way of Chaos Emerald hunting, which basically means you have to beat the game as every character and then get the Chaos Emeralds as every character. Nope, you do not, because every single character you have shares their inventory of the Chaos Emeralds. So if you get the Chaos Emeralds as Team Sonic, Team Dark will have the same Chaos Emeralds. If you get the Chaos Emeralds as Team Rose, Team Chaotix will have the same Chaos Emeralds, you know, ladies and gentlemen. So, you know, the Chaos Emeralds are shared between all the characters, and I do absolutely appreciate that. You don't have to worry too much about that. In fact, with the exception of like 1 or 2 special stages down the line, this is pretty much the last time you're going to be seeing this. Like, yeah, I got two special stages to worry about that. One I think I failed and one I missed out entirely. And I'll be getting those in the Team Dark storyline, you know, folks. But, I digress.
This time you won't get away!
Give it up! This looks like checkmate, Doctor!
Enough of this! Sonic, Tails, Knuckles! Time to meet your maker! I'll show you what real evil is!
Why? What? Why would you be proud of being evil? That makes no sense. Then again, I suppose it does give you certain funny dialogue, like in the Sonic Boom TV show, where Dr. Eggman is talking about, "I'll get a robot to build me ham! Evil ham!" I don't care what anyone says, Sonic Boom the TV show is fantastic. But anyway, for Egg Emperor himself right by here, what I advise doing right from the get-go is doing your best to upgrade each of the characters, and you can upgrade them by finding balloons and whatnot in the environment, and just from general movement throughout the stage. And whenever you get level up Tails to level 3, that's basically your goal, because once Tails reaches level 3, this boss fight's a joke. And I mean an absolutely ridiculous joke. He is ridiculously easy to kill. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? Because Tails can basically fly out of the way of any danger that comes towards him and just rapidly shoot Sonic and Knuckles towards the Egg Emperor himself. And while at level 2 I can do this, and it'll slowly whittle down the Egg Emperor's health. You know, it does take a little bit of time, but once I reach level 3, his health drops like an absolute rock, which can be quite tricky. The Egg Emperor here himself as well will also have these sort of laser beam blast things he will shoot out as he's running away, and missiles. Missiles are a bit of a pain in the ass, but if you see them coming you can easily dodge them. And this laser blast thing takes a long amount of time to really get used to, so keep an eye out for it, what can I tell you. And if you get too far away from him, he will do an unavoidable dodge attack as well, which can screw you over. So just be a bit careful with this one, folks. This is a hard boss fight. This is legitimately a difficult boss fight if you don't know what you're doing. But once you get Tails to level 3, you can basically absolutely annihilate this boss, like I said. And if you don't need Tails to beat this boss fight, because you can use the other characters to stun and hurt Eggman and take his health down. But Tails is obviously the best method, because he also, not only does he stun him, but Tails' attacks just sort of pierce through his armor like it's nothing. So what can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? Just utilize Tails at level 3, and bada bing, bada boom, Dr. Eggman is now down for the count. What can I tell ya? And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is actually it for the Team Sonic storyline. So, I'm going to end it off here and give up my thoughts. Because normally, there is a cutscene coming up. I normally, the way the cutscene works is it segues straight into the credits. So I might as well give my thoughts on the whole thing here. Basically, the Team Sonic story is probably the highlight of the game. You know, it's probably the best story of the game. Maybe with the exception of Team Bros. I always get confused which one I prefer out of the two. But basically, Team Sonic is the gameplay style you'd expect. You know, it's typical run and gun, go fast, play as Sonic, going through these varied environments. It's fantastic. I love the Team Sonic storyline of the game. It's where the Team Dark and Team Chaotic storylines come in. That's where the game sort of loses its way, I feel. And don't get me wrong, I'll be complaining about them in due time. But yeah, with that. That is basically it for this playthrough, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for this part. So, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people. And I will catch you all next time in part 8 as we start the Team Dark storyline of the game. And also, the song at the end credits of this, I believe, is called We Can. And it's a pretty damn dope song, so I'd say stick around and listen to that. So, yeah, with that, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish. I'll catch you all again. Bye!
Boy, talk about cutting it close.
Not really.
Come on, tell me you weren't scared. If it wasn't for us, you wouldn't have had a chance.
Well, maybe you're right. Thanks, Knuckles. You too, Tails.
guys. I'm out of here.
Wait up, Sonic! Get back here!
Look out down below. Sonic is on the go. Can't stop this party till we save the world. This time we're not alone. We've got some friends along. And as a team we can become even stronger. Together we can overcome all the odds. It's never as hard as it seems. Everyone can do something special. The secret is sharing your dreams. Yeah, we can make it if we all stick together.